Health-wise, Monty's been with us all week. Shouldn't have any problem. We won't get back Freddie Willis. Otherwise, everybody else is full strength. Thought we've had a pretty good week. Been outside all week, so the guys should be used to the weather and everything that we get over there. It's supposed to be kind of just like what it is right now on game time. So Saturday night will be good. It's good to finally get to a game. I think our kids have felt it all week just to kind of get another opportunity to get back out on the field.
Obviously, one guy, David Gilbert, I don't expect.
No, I'm sorry, David. Yeah. Basically, our whole 70 traveled last week is doing the same trip.
Is David hopeful?
Close, yeah. He had an X-ray Monday. They said everything was good and it's moving along good. I think we'll get him back. He thinks he'll be back next week, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Maybe the week after.
What about Fred? When do you think that he'll?
Freddie's close. We just kind of made a decision yesterday. He Freddie's benefit for us is he's fast and he can't run full speed right now. So Tuesday I'd expect him to be 100%.
Both Shelton does.
Shelton really has looked good. I think he finally is. I think the last two games in particular, he started playing pretty good in the second half last week. But I think he's in full stride. And Dez was a stinger basically, and he's kind of recovered from that. We've kept him in green, but he's there.
You had a pretty good idea how your guys would respond coming out of the Michigan State game last year. Do you have a similar idea?
I do. Just two things. I think the way they respond in the fourth quarter when there's adversity shows me that they know how to respond. And then this week, I kind of said it a couple times to our staff when I was looking at our locker room Friday or Saturday after the game last year. I remember a lot of sad faces, a lot of emotions. This year, I just kind of saw a lot of angry people, guys who were frustrated and angry, and I think want to get back out there and play the game, and like I know how.
There seemed to be a difference when Monty was in the game last week.
Yeah.
Did you consider riding him a little bit more now since he's elevated his game?
Yeah,
he's changing that split a little.
He's playing a lot of. The last couple games have. I mean, he's really. I think the Nebraska game kind of separated himself.
Okay.
James still comes in and does a nice change of pace for us, but Monty's when he's feeling it, I don't think there's any doubt. He actually kind of has it at liberty. You'll see him a lot of times tap out. Where he's feeling he isn't at his best because the way we kind of do things, any run can really go the distance, and I think they don't want to be a guy that's in there that's got that chance and he can't get in the end zone because he's gassed.
When he lost that weight, was there any concern about handling the pounding in the Big Ten from week to week?
I know what everybody thought. He's actually stronger now. He's kind of I think plus just mentality-wise, those guys, both of him, James, and him and James kind of got that mentality.
And Melvin, you mentioned, would be on crutches for 3 to 4. What's his?
He must be. I saw him today without crutches, so he must be off in a day. Basically, they did a procedure where they kind of, the lack of a better term, they put the blood back into the spot where it's really aching. So I don't think we'll have him any activity for 2 more weeks, but just kind of waiting to see if that procedure worked and see how it happens.
Does it seem like special teams is always pivotal against Ohio State?
Yeah, well, they're big in every game. We saw that last week, but for sure, the one thing Ohio State has, they got a lot of really good athletes. So I think they just naturally by their roster have an advantage. Their special teams guys, their second, third players are. It's always kind of funny when we go through our special teams charts and depths, and when we're all these guys that are run down on kickoff, all these guys that are on kickoff return, we're like, oh yeah, we wanted him. We recruited him. Sweat, 42 is a great player for him. I think one of the best backers in our league. He first 2 years were all on kick cover, and he was training and playing football then.
Go ahead, Jeff.
That's right.
I was going to say, what are your impressions of Braxton Miller?
I've known Braxton for a while. We actually, Josh Harrison is a linebacker that we recruited out of the same high school, so I remember meeting Braxton back a couple of years back, and knew he was going to be a national recruit. I think I saw him play basketball the first time before I even saw him play football, and he's just a freak athlete, very, very gifted, great kid, really an all-around good kid. So I think what you're going to see out of him is he definitely was better from Nebraska to Illinois. Had a bye week last week. He can definitely throw the football. It's not like that they're not going to be able to throw the football or try to throw the football. So that's the part I think you'll really see him, gain strides at least going into this game.
Aaron Henry had mentioned yesterday that he's incredibly fast,
Yeah.
Braxton Miller, and just said
He's kind of
for a kid his age that he was pretty impressed.
Yeah, he again, like I said, a good athlete. He would remind you of Martinez a little bit in that regards. Martinez might be 10 yards faster, but Braxton's got a lot more wiggle to him. So he's very gifted with what he can do with the ball.
I'm assuming you knew this was coming down the pipe about the $2,000 for athletes, and also the option of 4-year scholarships.
Right. Yeah.
Will that change the way you approach things?
If it goes through, I doubt very much that. I would think that one will get shot down. I think the pay 2,000 makes a lot of sense, but unless there's some specific wording in the way they do things, I didn't put on. Casey Dean came in and quit on Tuesday. All right, so here's a case in point where a kid, if I was tied into, if you had a multi-year scholarship, what's the situation then? If he doesn't want to play anymore, we can't obviously be obligated. So. Just some different things like that. They have to if they go to that, it would have to be very specific on how a scholarship is terminated, I would think. It's scary. It actually kind of protects, the 1 year thing protects the school and the athlete, I would think. But
Casey's situation?
you know what, Casey, I think just he wants to try track. I think, over the last, I could see it kind of coming. During spring last year, during the summer, there was a couple things that I just didn't know if he wanted to keep going, and I know he had made reference to that to some people, and he just came in Tuesday morning and fell out of love with the game, and is we're gonna give him all the support we can, and I asked him if he wanted to play football. He doesn't want to play football anymore because I talked about looking at other options for him, but he wants to stay here and not run track, but do track.
So obviously Robbie is the backup at right tackle. What happens if something?
Yeah, well, actually Ryan Groy can play the tackle. Actually Robbie Burge as well. So. We sad to see it, but it's one of those things.
Do you think you've had many 2-game stretches in terms of difficulty like this one? I mean, there was Ohio State, Iowa last year,
Yeah,
but
that's
2 on the road at
Oh,
night.
back to back, yeah.
Back to back.
Not since I've been here, I don't think. It all seems like a blur. I can't remember from 1 year to the next, but we knew it was going to be a difficult challenge. We knew that when the schedule was released. I talked about it last January. Kids talked about it in fall camp about how they had to take care of their body now because it may not mean this week, but it might mean down the road, and for sure.
Just kind of in general, how would you classify this rivalry with Ohio State?
Well, obviously since I've been in the league as a head coach, they've been the cream of the crop. They've won a Big Ten championship every year that I've been here, and last year to beat them was a big thing for me. I think you guys were in the post-game press conference the year before when I was, I felt what I felt. So I think for us to be competitive in this league, to have an opportunity to play them on the road in an environment at night, if we were able to take advantage of that, would be a big statement.